Saints, the combat-wearing, sultry, sexy alternative to the Spice Girls that it was cool to like. They had sass, they had woman power, and they were here to take on the plethora of boy bands who had dominated the music charts for years. This girl group gave us heartbreaking lyrics, breathtaking vocals, and bandmate squabbles. Pitted against other female acts by the media, All Saints would strive to establish themselves as a credible, successful band in their own right, scoring numerous #1 singles, hit albums, and multiple awards along the way. This is the story of one of the biggest girl bands of the late 90s and early 2000s, who continue to craft exceptional music still to this day. This is All Saints. The quartet, made up of Shaznay Lewis, Melanie Blatt, and sisters Nicole and Natalie Appleton, impacted the UK charts with their debut single, I Know Where It's At, in August of 1997. The track, peaking at number 4, introduced us to their pop, R&B, hip-hop sound and the fresh, funky vibe of All Saints. However, 1997 would showcase the second incarnation of the group, the original lineup having been formed some 4 years prior as All Saints 1975. The trio, consisting of founding members Shaznay, Melanie, plus third member Simone Rainford, would release their debut single Silver Shadow to little fanfare or success. After Rainford departed shortly after, Lewis and Blatt would continue as a duo, releasing If You Want a Party, I Found Loving in 1995.
Our record company's near All Saints Road, so they decided to call us All Saints. The 1975 is the year we were born.
The song was later retitled Let's Get Started and would feature on the debut All Saints album in 1997. If You Want a Party, I Found Lovin' failed to make an impact with the music buying public, and the group promptly parted ways with their label ZTT Records. Now, without a label and uncertain of their next move, it would be a chance meeting with an old school pal that would change the course of direction for All Saints 1975.
3 years later, I ran into Mel after not seeing her for 8 years.
We wanted more vocalists, so we asked them to come and join us.
But it was all very coincidental and very good.
Renaming themselves as simply All Saints, the group quickly established a refreshed sound and vibe and signed a recording deal with London Records in 1996. Now signed to a major label and feeling strong as a four-piece, the girls got to work on writing and recording their debut album. At the helm of production duties were acclaimed producers such as Cameron McVeigh, Johnny Douglas and Nellie Hooper. Shaznay Lewis would also encourage longtime producer and co-writer pal Carl K.G. Gordon to be involved in helping to craft the songs which would make up the girls' self-titled debut album, released in October of 1997.
I think our sound's just basically got a lot of our own influences of music that we listen to when we go home, and what we try to do is also add our own creative side.
There's a mixture of everything because we all have different influences.
It's got the influences of pop, hip-hop, rap,
A bit of R&B, a bit of soul,
a bit of rock under the bridge because Nat likes rock.
a bit of everything. It's kind of a combination of lots of different things. Well, when we've worked with Cameron McVeigh, he likes us all to write together and just give us a topic and we all go away and write.
It basically depends on who's vibing off the track the most, you know, who can feel it more and wants to write something to it pretty much straight away. I Know Where It's At, I reckon, It was a great introduction. You know, I'd written it 4 years ago, so it was kind of cool that it hadn't dated, that it hung around for 4 years and came out and was as good as it would have been 4 years ago.
You like to party and you wanna get on down. Let me tell you, baby, that you come to the right town. Cause it's party time, you gotta get your groove on. I know you wanna dance from night to dawn. Baby, got it going on, I don't see nothing wrong. You dance pretty hot and I know you like my...
Despite I Know Where It's At's top 5 chart placing, the band were yet to make a name for themselves or to be seen as serious contenders in the music industry against such massive acts as Spice Girls or boy bands like Boyzone and fellow London Records label mates East 17. That was all about to change with the release of their follow-up single, Never Ever.
A few questions that I need to know. How you could ever hurt me so.
Released in November that same year, the track would debut in the UK singles chart at number 3. However, soon rose to the top spot, becoming the band's first #1 single.
Or did I not give enough affection? Not only will your answers keep me sane, but I'll know never to make the same mistake again. You can tell me to my face, or even on the phone. You can write it in a letter. Either way, I have to know.
The track stayed in the UK top 10 for 15 weeks and would go on to sell over 1.3 million copies in the UK. Never Ever became a huge hit throughout Europe and even saw success in the US, peaking at number 4 on the Billboard Hot 100.
My head's spinning. Boy, I'm in a daze. I feel isolated. Don't wanna communicate. I'll take a shower. I will scour. I will roll. Find peace of mind, the happy mind I once owned. Yeah. Flexing vocabulary runs right through. The alphabet runs right from A to Z. Conversations, hesitations in my mind. You got my conscience asking questions that I can't find. I'm not crazy. I'm sure I ain't done nothing wrong, no. I'm just waiting, cause I heard that this feeling won't last that long. Never ever have I ever felt so low. When you're gonna take me out of this black hole. Never ever have I ever felt so sad. The way I'm feeling now, you got me feeling really bad. Never ever have I had to find. I've had to dig away to find my own peace of mind. I've never ever had my conscience.
The song touched the hearts of audiences worldwide, going on to win 2 Brit Awards for Best British Single and Best British Video. It also holds the title of 3rd best-selling single by a UK girl group of all time.
All the answers. Don't wanna hurt no more. I need peace. Gotta feel at ease. Need to be.
Never Ever would undoubtedly become All Saints' most memorable and most successful song to date.
My heart is.
We chose Under the Bridge to cover because Under the Bridge was because Natalie wanted to do something with a bit of rock in it because that's Nat's main influences, and that's rock influences.
She wanted to do a funky track with a rock element.
Lady Marmalade, I think. That was a recent idea from everybody. Lady Marmalade was just a song we all liked.
And it turned out pretty well, and it was pretty cool because Mel's half French.
And Lady Marmalade was basically just
an idea that had been thrown around for a while, and we finally got into the studio to do it, and it sounded alright.
The album would go on to generate 2 further #1 singles in 1998. The AA side, Under the Bridge, Lady Marmalade, and the sultry and undeniably sexy Booty Call.
Bring it on, bring it on now. 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 Never stop giving good love, 'cause that's what I call you for. Never stop, baby, give it up, 'cause I know where it came from. You got more. I like playing games, and if it's all the same,
You can bring it on with the rough stuff and give me your love. I don't wanna be tamed.
I need a man to be a real man. You know what I got in store. Always finish what you start, baby, and always having me beg for more.
You know I wanna be diggy down, boy.
But I don't get around. Jimmy has to ride in your pocket, I lock him in your wallet. It's just a booty call. Bring it on, bring it on now. 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 Bring it on.
The album itself sold over 1 million copies, peaking at #2 in the UK and being certified platinum in the US for shipments of over 1 million units.
Never let me down. I'm always happy when
A 5th and final single, War of Nerves, would end the album campaign on a more somber and reflective note, peaking at a respectful #7 in November of 1998.
Monday on the line, when you know that now's the time to leave and be free, aware of your destiny. When that moment arrives, wild visions through the mind, and all I see is what used to be. My life could soon be a memory. I don't ever wanna feel pain. Wanna be ready when you call my name.
During this time, Melanie Black became pregnant with her first child, and the band decided to take a short break before embarking on their first UK tour in 1999 and starting work on tracks for their next album. In 1999, 3 of the group's members, Nicole, Natalie and Mel, approached Dave Stewart to appear in his upcoming film, Honest. The plot followed the antics of 3 gun-toting streetwise sisters in swinging London in the late 1960s.
We got sent the script from our agent, and we read the part, and it was 3 sisters. And Mel had not seen the script. We said, okay, Mel, it's got to be you.
The girls one day, they just said, oh yeah, we saw that we read this script, and there's this character Joe, and it's the younger sister, and you'd be great, and it would just it's you, and at the time I was just like, all right then.
And so we bumped into Dave Stewart at a party and said, we're the sisters, and we just happened to drag Mel along.
Right, let's have a look. Oh, look. Masked Gang Raid Warehouse.
blah, blah, blah. And then, Raymond Purvis, he said he was terrified. Why not threaten me with a crowbar?
You couldn't resist them because they were just so charismatic. They just belonged in it, you know. And to tell you the truth, I don't think I could have chosen better people.
I think it wasn't even to do with the script. I think it was just to do with the three of us, how we were with each other. And, you know, he found it very difficult to hire three actresses
that had the same kind of chemistry.
Yeah, that we had, and that's what meant the film. That was the film for him.
Meanwhile, remaining member Shaznay travelled to the US to work with top producer William Orbit, noted for his work with pop star Madonna, on songs and backing tracks for what would become All Saints' second album. Continuing the relationship with KG, the girls would preview a new track, Ready, Willing and Able, in late 1999 to excited audiences.
Just can't get enough. I just can't get enough. Tell me, who is this? There's somebody that I see. I've got to get to know you. You know I want you for me. You're so beautiful. Wanna go inside the mysteries in me. I could go on the back. I'm ready for love. Ready for love. I can't get enough. I just can't get enough. I'm ready.
While she'd been working alongside William Orbit, Shaznay had been approached to write a song for The Beach, a film directed by Danny Boyle and starring Leonardo DiCaprio.
I've crossed deserts for miles, swam water for time, searching places to find a piece of something to call mine.
It wouldn't be until February of 2000 that All Saints returned to the charts with their next single, the pop electronica stunner Pure Shores. The track was lifted from the soundtrack to The Beach and would lead the campaign for the upcoming All Saints record, and saw a major departure in sound from the girls' earlier R&B pop.
Is the place I can call.
The song received universal acclaim from music critics who praised the production, lyrics and vocals. Pure Shores became the second best-selling single of 2000 and All Saints' fourth #1 in the UK, where it remained at the top of the charts for 2 weeks. The song also received worldwide success, topping the charts in many European countries. Despite ongoing rumours that the girls were not getting along, All Saints were well and truly back with a bang.
Never been here before. I'm intrigued, I'm unsure. I'm searching for more. I've got something that's all mine. I've got something that's all mine. Take me somewhere I can breathe. I've got so much to see. This is where I wanna be. In a place I can call mine. In a place I can call mine. I'm moving, I'm coming, can you?
Did the band ever come close to breaking up?
No, we did not.
You didn't at all?
We were very tired. We rowed a lot.
Did you row a lot? What were
Yeah.
the sort of things that started off the rows, girls? Come on, let's share it with the group.
Just being exhausted, really. Just coming in,
I
and
see.
it's like getting up on the wrong side of the bed, and you go,
Tiredness can really count for a lot, can't it?
Yeah.
Just make you a bit squabbly.
Absolutely. Except we did it in public, which was
Yeah.
why everybody speculated that.
But can you think of what was the classic All Saint argument? Can you think of it?
Oh, there's been loads!
Released 3 years after their debut, Saints and Sinners had already produced monster hit single Pure Shores and the epic second release, produced once again by William Orbit, Black Coffee, their fifth UK #1.
Nights swimming, beach walking, always silent, never talking. Then you call my name, and I know inside I love you. Sail away, I miss you more until you see the shore. There I will be waiting, anticipating.
Saints and Sinners swiftly headed towards the #1 spot in the UK album charts. Now, with 5 #1 singles to their name, the band had claimed the achievement of being the second girl group after the Spice Girls to achieve 5 #1 singles in the UK.
Did I tell you that I love you? Brush your teeth and pour a cup of black coffee out. I love to watch you do that every day. The little things that you.
I can't believe it's only your second album. You should be on like number 4 or 5. Yet this is only number 2. Why is it taken sort
We've
of?
squeezed every little bit out of the first album, haven't we?
That's
Squeeze to get the fourth single out.
not the answer I was looking for.
Squeeze to get the 12th song out of the album.
Wouldn't wanna be anywhere else but here. I wouldn't wanna change anything at all. Anything. I wouldn't wanna take everything out on you.
With 2 hit singles and a #1 album, the girls were riding high on their success, but things were about to take a drastic turn.
Come on. Come on.
The album's third and final single, the KG produced All Hooked Up, was released in January 2001. The track had a far more familiar All Saints sound with an R&B groove. However, it did not match the success of the album's previous singles, reaching number 7.
You keep asking for my time.
That's right.
You keep telling me that I'm fine. Give me your number, I won't call.
You want what?
Give me your page or two. Not at all will I call. Not at all. I know that you want a piece of my ass. Don't you know that a guy like you wouldn't last? Not a player. Don't get played. I'll leave you hanging for days. Don't send me flowers, they won't do. Don't give me diamonds.
Rumblings had already begun that a falling out between the group had occurred, with the Appletons in one camp and Mel and Shaz in the other. The following month, All Saints announced that they were to take a break so they could clear the air between themselves. Melanie Blatt said later that year that it was uncertain if they would reform. With news of the split, promotion for All Hooked Up ceased, as did any further push for the Saints and Sinners album. The record would eventually reach double platinum certification in the UK for sales of more than 600,000 copies, but for now, the album's sparkle had well and truly dimmed.
All Saints,
Calling you my dear, I wouldn't wanna be
all their greatest hits.
In November 2001, London Records released a greatest hits compilation entitled All Hits. It contained the group's hit singles and Blatt's first solo single, 24/7, a collaboration with Artful Dodger. No promotion behind it, the album peaked at number 18 in the UK album chart and was later certified gold, selling 100,000 copies. For now, All Saints were well and truly done.
The videos lived up to a lot more than what we imagined, because we didn't really have an idea for this song, except that we wanted to do it live, and we thought, all right, we do it live, but it has to be so amazing. You know, you see lots of live videos. It had to really be amazing because it's our first.
And playback, please.
Basically, I wasn't going to be the one to crowd surf, it was going to be Nick. And then Nick just bottled out at the last minute. I went, I'll do it. Because originally I was going to jump onto a mattress and then they were going to film me being held. And they thought it would be better if we did the real thing, and that's when I copped out. And that was at the last minute they decided that, so that's why. It's like I can say in my life, I did it. I did it.
September 2002 would see the return of sisters Nicole and Natalie, now working under the name Appleton. They were back in the pop charts with their pop rock debut single, Fantasy.
You know what to do. Would you know where to touch me if I want you to? Do you feel what I feel? Could you handle me now? Now this moment is real. I know you know everything will be okay if you treat me right, real life, all night. Are you gonna get it your way today? I ain't fooling around. Now that you see what's about to go down. Now that it's time, boy, to let yourself in. Gotta prove to me, boy, that you got what it takes. Now I bet you can't wait for me to be a fantasy. For me to be a fantasy. For me to be a fantasy.
Having signed to Polydor Records as a duo, the sisters got to work on recording their solo record, Everything's Eventual, yet still allowed time for reflection on their successful past as part of All Saints, something they would touch upon in their BBC documentary, Appleton on Appleton.
We did all the choreography ourselves. Then we got an audition with Sony after this. And then it was nothing. Then we almost split. And then I was like, hang on a minute. We can't just split. You know, there's other record companies. Help me! Me and Mel, I mean, I wanted to carry on, but Melanie and I ended up joining an extras agency. I got a call just as we were being signed by London Records saying, yes, they want you to do this sanitary pad commercial. Hi, on my light days. Hi, on my heavy days. I would never let my dad see that. If we hadn't taped that, I would have forgotten a lot, and it's nice to kind of remember at least something. And it makes you think back, and it just seems like so long ago. I can't believe how much has happened since then anyway. Do you have a relationship with MONETISE? As of now, no. I mean, I did see them in my late stages of pregnancy and just after I gave birth to Jean, but there was like nothing there. There was really nothing there. It was just because maybe they had to be and maybe show that they did care, but it wasn't real. It wasn't like a real friend coming to see me. I miss our friends. That's what I miss most about All Saints. We had a great following and great support, and it was just a shame, you know. So hopefully, you know, we can get that back. Are we tracking
both of you.
By February, the girls are spending most of their time in the recording studio.
You say you're doing the delay thing, don't you?
See, I'm waiting. Something.
What's that?
It's not. It doesn't mean anything. It's just something really quite blondie. Yeah. Well,
Nicole and Natalie would co-write most of the album's tracks alongside established writers and producers, including one of Madonna's previous collaborators, Marius de Vries. The sound was more mature than of the earlier All Saints music, stepping away from R&B and hip-hop influences and instead incorporating more rock and electronica sounds.
Can't you see I'm waiting, for your love?
Nat and I wrote a song together, and it was good fun. But I think that's going to be something that evolves maybe in the next one properly. I think, you know, with me, it's taken me a little bit longer because I'm still like coming to terms with this all happening for us. I think Nat was more confident with picking up the pen and doing it, so I let her do it. You know, I let her do it because, you know, she writes great songs and I love singing them, and that's just the way it's working right now. So I think, you know, in the next album, you know, it'll all come back to me, and I'll be 100% confident to pick up a pen, because it does take a lot. It really does. And I wrote a track on the album, and I'm very proud of it. And then Nat's like, "You're nuts, you know? I mean, you what you wrote, and you're too scared to pick up a pen." I go through phases, you know. I'm up and down all the time. So I think, you know, that's going to be something that evolves, because it's going to be one out of many albums we're going to do. I might write the whole next one.
You'll see. I can relax and go on a nice long holiday.
At the end of the day, no words left to say, just stop.
Why are you looking at me like that, Carson?
No, but what he wants me to do is, "Can't you see I'm waiting, waiting, waiting?" But I can't say hesitating over Nat. It's too many bits.
Broke it.
Did I? I broke my hand. I hit that. I just hit the popper.
Nikki, you vandal.
Yeah, I just hit the popper.
Lost it.
So, no, okay. You want me to go, "Can't you see I'm waiting, waiting, hesitating, masturbating." Okay. Penetrating, waiting, hesitating. Yeah, you sing it. No, I'm not doing that. It's Bob the Builder.
This time round, it's not unusual for Nicole and Natalie to have the family in the studio when they're working.
All right, Nick?
Yes. My turn.
All right.
You must sweat your lips.
Yeah, I like it a lot. The future in my hands.
I think it's very
time.
Keep that one. You see, it's hard.
This time I see the future in my. Everything you think I never was allowed to do. Now I'm doing everything I can to make the dream come true. More for you can be done. Now you can be anyone. I'm better than anyone you ever had. So come on, give up, give it to me. Show me how I drive you mad, how you wanna leave me so bad. I ain't fooling around. Now that you see what's about to go down. Now that it's time, boy, to let yourself in. Gotta prove to me, boy, that you got what it takes. Now I bet you can't wait for me to be a fantasy.
With strong promotion, the first taster off the album, Fantasy, made impact on the UK charts, scoring the ladies a top 5 hit single, with the track peaking at number 2. The delayed follow-up single, Don't Worry, came in February the following year. Bringing the tempo down with a dreamlike acoustic ballad, it became another hit for Appleton, entering the charts at number 5.
Don't worry, 'cause I'll always be there for you. I just needed you to comfort me
After 2 hit singles, the girls were ready to drop their album. Everything's Eventual saw its official release in February 2003, and despite mixed critical reviews, the record charted within the top 10, peaking at number 9. However, the label were unhappy with the generally low album sales, and after final single Everything Eventually limped into the UK charts at a disappointing number 38, Polydor swiftly dropped the duo from their roster.
In the morning, pull the blinds and see the sunshine. I wonder if this Monday will wipe the rain of yesterday. Let's go fishing down the river. Let's go fly a kite on Primrose Hill. Take advantage of the sunshine. There's no telling when the rain comes in. I feel fine. Kicked the flu last week, now I'm alright. Come and meet me on the corner. Just pick me up and we can drive the city from every day. Blast the music on the radio.
Despite rumours of another album being planned under a smaller label, Appleton would not release any further music. The following year, Shaznay would venture out on her own musical journey, releasing debut single Never Felt Like This Before in July 2004.
Open, baby, you've left me open. Now I'm shattered into a million pieces. Can't stop looking over my shoulder, just in case you realize just how much you want this. The longer the sweeter, baby, don't stop. It's okay, cause I'm down for you. Not gonna stop till you tell me to. I'm into you like a badass too. Tell me, how did this happen? I've never known how what to do.
Unlike Appleton, Shaznay continued to release music through All Saints label London Records. However, whereas Nick and Nat had seen success with their first few single releases, Shaznay's debut only managed to reach number 8. Her album, entitled Open, came 2 weeks later but would miss the top 20, peaking at number 22.
You are all I ever want. All alone. Without you here, how long have I gone? Feels like time stands still.
Follow-up single, You, came in October but struggled to gain momentum, eventually charting at number 56.
Back home, how long must I stay? 'Cause I'm missing you, babe. It feels so long. Every love song, every bright smile reminds me of you. Everywhere I go, every blue sky reminds me of you. You how I feel. You tell me be strong, that you love me still. I keep counting the days just to try find a way to come back home. How long must I stay? 'Cause I'm missing you, babe. It feels so everywhere I go,
No further tracks were released from the album, and instead, Shaznay would step back from performing once again to refocus on writing songs for other artists. Mel Blatt's track with Artful Dodger 24/7 had been a hit in the UK, peaking at number 6 in September of 2001. After the success, Blatt ventured into working on solo material, including co-writing with writing production hitmakers Xenomania, and in 2003 Blatt would release her debut solo single, Do Me Wrong.
When you're gone, I can't help thinking something's wrong. 'Cause in all but spirit I'm alive. But you kill me from a distance when you're gone.
Despite strong critical reviews of the song, it struggled to gain any traction and eventually charted at number 18.
As soon as I'm gone, I'm out your head. You can call from someone else's bed. Just break anybody's heart instead of mine. First you say you care, sure baby, yeah. Like the bullshit that you wear, this ain't a fair affair. Oh, when you're here with me, it's a sweet reality. But baby, when you're gone, I know you do me wrong. Boy, I can't help but wonder why. You said that if we weren't together, you would die. Well, you started digging your own grave the day I turned around and saw you look away. Soon as you're out of vision, you spend your time running around pretending you're a single guy. Running out of lies each day. You find it harder and harder to explain. Stop playing with my heart, it's getting time. First you say you care, sure baby, yeah. Like the bullshit that you wear, this ain't a fair affair. Oh, when you're here with me, it's a sweet reality. But baby, when you're gone, I know you do me wrong.
Blatt would eventually be dropped from her recording contract. The album she was working on was scrapped, and the release of her upcoming single cancelled. In 2005, Blatt made a return to music with new single See Me, which was used in the animated movie Robots.
Always stuck in your groove, always in the same mood, never trying to improve. Oh baby, see me, I just wanna be free, free from powers that be. So I keep my eyes wide open, keep them open, babe. Can't waste my time, do what I need to feel alright. I find a way to change, don't wanna be uptight. No matter what I made of, know that I can shine. It's been so long since I have shone so. I'm gonna learn to fly, I'm gonna touch the sky. I will not.
She began work on a new album, written with and recorded by Matt Hales from Aquila, and during 2005 played small venues in the UK which featured songs from the upcoming album. Blatt's solo record would eventually be shelved in favour of the upcoming All Saints reunion. In 2005, Shaznay, Melanie, Nicole and Natalie attempted to repair their broken friendship. It was stated that this was far more important to the girls than any discussions of potentially kick-starting the band. However, in January 2006, it was officially announced that All Saints had reformed and signed a record deal with Parlophone Records. All Saints were back. They subsequently began work on their third studio album. Working alongside familiar producer KG, they would also collaborate with hit writers and producers such as Greg Kurstin and Rick Knowles.
last thing that was on any of our minds was getting the band back together.
So you're back together. Okay, so can you explain why did you split up in the first place, and then what happened that brought you back together? Because it was what, about 5-6 years ago that you split up? Okay.
5 years ago.
Who wants to tell us the official story, and then who wants to tell us the truth?
We'll just tell you the truth.
Okay.
Go on then.
Our friendship was in tatters, and that was it, really.
What happened that caused you to fall apart?
Just an accumulation of many things that never got solved at the time. So.
Like what?
Right.
Loads of different issues. We'd never say, this upset me today, that upset me today, any little thing, and it just built up and built up and built up, and no one around us encouraged us to talk. They were just like, oh, whatever, just carry on with it and carry on.
And is that because you were successful? People just wanted to carry on and didn't want to open up the possibility that
yes, they just wanted to make the cash.
Yeah, no one kind of banged our heads together and sat us down as friends and said, you know, sort your friendship out first. It was pretty much, look, you know, we stand to lose this tomorrow if you don't kind of just...
And was it also, do you think because you were successful, do you think that was part of the problem?
Part of it, yeah.
You then begin to believe that you don't have to make the effort that you did before with friends, or...?
No, I don't think it was that. I think it was just, we were just falling apart and no one sort of... If anything, they just went, we'll just get on with it.
Yeah.
And it wasn't really the best advice.
What was the actual catalyst for, we got to split? This ain't working, we got to split.
Jacket.
Is that true? I mean, I've heard about
it's true. It's true.
You were at a photo shoot and there was a jacket.
We were at a TV show, like a proper show.
Oh, right,
it was
a TV
like
show.
big, and it was...
Everyone got a jacket, and then in the end, someone wanted to swap, and someone didn't, and that was that.
Who were the people who wouldn't swap? You
These
two?
But that was like they said, it was the icing on the cake. So it could have been. It could have been a hairpin.
Do you know where the jacket is now?
The jacket is in one of my wardrobes.
She got it.
I got it. And I hate the thing now. It's taking up too much space. Do you want it?
No way. Keep it.
From the outside, and I know that there's some corroboration, it seemed that you kind of split into two units, that you guys kind of went off as friends and you guys...
Well, we're sisters.
Yeah. But brothers and sisters don't always... and then you guys put out a book in which you slightly dissed your former bandmates.
Yes, we were angry, you know, and you know, there's some things that you think, oh God, I wish I hadn't done that, and said things that you say. But it was at that point where all the frustration that was built up came out in a book.
Yeah.
And, you know, maybe it wasn't.
And that's always a nice way to let former friends know what was upsetting you.
We all said things we know were wrong, and that's the thing, we all actually know that we...
And we've all sat on that step that you sit on when you're naughty for the last 4.5 years thinking about what we did, and we were all think
we're all kind of like happy with the fact that we did end it because we didn't get on. It's not like we tried to carry on, do it just for the money.
So that would have been worse, you think?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we couldn't be in the same room anymore. We thought, F it, let's go home.
So it was as bad as that? It was really that bad?
Towards the end, yeah.
Yeah, we had separate dressing rooms, makeup, we travelled separately. It was not good at all. You could cut the atmosphere with a knife if you walked in.
And how long did you carry on together when it was like that, when it was as bad as that? How long was that going on for before you decided to call it a day?
Probably about a year.
A year? That must have been just hideous.
We had commitments and stuff that we couldn't break, so it was, you know...
So it must have been quite a relief when it was over, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay, and then how does it come full circle that you then work through that and decide you're getting back together?
We made up.
I just think we've reached a certain stage in our lives where we're all mothers now, and you know, we just kind of rose above it and just like, you know what, we were mates. You know, we weren't just a band that was put together. You know, we had genuine feelings for each other, and we wanted to, you know, to share all those experiences with each other. So we were like, well, you explain what happened.
I want to. Go on, you do it.
All right then. So I was in the south of France, and I was there on holiday with two friends, which all of us know. And the first we got there only went for 3 days.
Okay, who are they? Would we all know them as well?
Nikita Metz and Shara Jathan.
Never heard of them. I bet they're huge in Kazakhstan.
No.
You're saying no, but part of you's a little bit glad, isn't it? So you're in the south of France.
So we're in the south of France, and I've just literally got there, and I was about, you know, to go on the lounger, and my phone went, and I said, hello, Nicole, it's Melanie Blatt. Because she didn't think I'd know Mel, because I know Mel as Mel.
So how long since you'd spoken to her?
5 years.
Wow.
And I was so instantly happy. It was like, I'd reached that point, but Mel had called Shaz to say, I'm in the south of France as well, should I ring Nick? And Shaz went, yeah, call her. I think we'd all reached that point where it was actually okay. Whoever reached out, we'd all become friends again. It was just, you know, someone taking that. So she called me, and then I dissed
both of my friends and got pissed with Mel the whole time I was on holiday.
Well, and that must have been, I would have thought, a relief for you, wasn't it? It must have
Relief.
been nice
Again,
feeling.
another relief.
There's no bad blood left at all.
When we became friends again, it wasn't... I mean, we met up in some burger bar in Hampstead and had a right giggle. The difference is now how we handle it.
You did very well in all of your solo careers, but not quite as well as you did when you were together. Was that a consideration when you decided to reform?
I personally found it quite lonely. I definitely feel more comfortable being with the girls.
I was always close with Mel and Shaz, so it was, you know, it was lonely for me and lonely for Nat.
Don't forget, we started this business as a foursome. There was a magic when we were all together doing this, and even when they were gone, it was just, it was not the same.
I spent a couple of days before I
got the
picked up
courage.
the phone.
Just had the information for ages.
Yeah. And then it was getting too much. I'd started not being able to see it, so I ended up calling.
She didn't even say it on the phone. She tried to make me guess what she was going to say.
She didn't even say she made Nick guess.
She made me guess. She was like that. You know what I'm trying to say, don't you? And I said, I knew. I went, no, tell me. You know what I'm trying to say, don't you? No, tell me. What is it you're trying to say? I can't tell you. I said, well, then I'm not listening. And she said, right, should we get back together as a band? I went, what? She hated it, and I made her say it again. And
I feel like I was there. I feel silly again.
It took, the conversation went from, I remember I was in the kitchen, I was making my son dinner, and I was pottering around like fish fingers and tins of SpaghettiOs, and I was doing my thing, and I had the phone like that, and I remember her being so what are you doing today? And I'm doing
beating
this.
around the bush.
Beating around the bush.
Big old bush.
And then she went,
the was busy.
It was her sigh. She went, right, I need to...
my hands were sweating.
And I was like, as soon as I heard that sigh, I thought, oh my God, she's going to ask me to join the band again. I knew it. I knew it from the sigh.
I think because this time round we probably really just want to have a good time and have a laugh. We disbanded because we weren't getting on. It wasn't anything musically. We weren't getting on at that time, but now we're getting on, so it's like, well, why not?
The only doubt I think that ever crossed my mind was because of our friendship. I was so happy to have our friendship back. The friendship meant more to me than the band, more than anything. That's what counted.
When I think about what we did have, we travelled the world, you know, we were really successful, and we really didn't take a step back and look at ourselves and appreciate each other and all that. So what I want is to do it all again.
This feeling.
And this feeling.
Even though the journey seems so far, no matter where you are, I wanna be close to you.
KG goes way back to the beginning, doesn't he, Mel?
Yeah, he was actually the first person that we, when we were signed to our first record company, he's the first person that Shaz wrote with, ever, like in a writing session. So he's history. He's unfortunate enough to have known us a long time, so we have absolutely no politeness or etiquette with him. He just has to suffer the session.
Way too long you had me in a headlock. Played my head till I was really brainwashed. All those years you tried to really screw with me. Played the perfect son to everyone, even loved by all the family. Fooling everyone around you, boy, but me.
What, Mel? What, Mel? You're my husband.
The album produced a more reggae and ska sound compared to previous All Saints music. The first flavour of this new sound came in the form of lead single Rock Steady, released in November of 2006.
Get on the run, boy, I know I can take it. And now that I'm here, I know you can't stand the waiting, boy. Let's say no more games, no messing with the mind. Always room for change, let's give it one more try. Come on, let's give it a try. I got my bags packed, baby, and I'm ready to go. Look at my eyes, rock steady, and I promise you more. I got my heart back, baby, and it's skipping a beat. I got my ass in check, and now I'm ready to be.
Yep, our first single, Rock Steady, was actually the first ever song that I wrote with Greg, and it was the first demo that we actually vocaled together when we first went in the studio together.
It's exciting and fun, and it's I love it.
I like it also. And yes, it's very immediate. I think that's why it was chosen to be the first single.
He's on the run, boy, I know I can take it.
The subject of it is quite relevant to, you know, the modern relationship that we all have to deal with at the moment.
The connotation of it, it kind of sounds like it's a girl talking about a guy, but I think my whole twist on it really was that I actually wrote it about the four of us. So yeah, it's me about, you know, the four of us really. And
that's what's special about it. It can be related in any sort of
way, yeah.
anyone's head. But yes, that's news to me about that being about us.
I
was like, oh really? Yeah. So yeah, I like that twist. It's a nice twist.
I got my bags packed, baby, and I'm ready to go. Look in my eyes, rock steady, and I promise you.
I think it's a good opener and a good way to find out where our heads are now.
Now let's have a big hand for All Saints.
He's on the run, boy, I know I can take it. And now that I'm here, I know you can stand the waiting for it. It's been no more days, no messing with the mind. Always room for change, let's give it one more try. Come on, let's give it a try. Got my bags packed, baby, and I'm ready to go. Look in my eyes, rock steady, and I promise you I got my heart back, baby, and it's skipping a beat. I got my ass in check, and now I'm ready to be. If you're good to go, I'm right here for the taking. Don't cross the line, I'll promise you no faking, boy. No, 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 no. It's all understood, no messing with the rules. If I let you go, boy, I will be a fool. I got my bags packed, baby, and I'm ready to go. My eyes rock steady, and I promise you I got my heart back, baby, and it's skipping a beat.
With strong promo, the track entered the top 5 of the UK singles chart, peaking at number 3. With a top 5 hit on their hands, Parlophone promptly released the new All Saints album, Studio One. In hindsight, this was perhaps somewhat premature. All Saints had been out of the industry for almost 5 years, and it was yet to be seen if their previously established fan base was still here for new music and their change in sound. The album entered the chart at an embarrassingly low number 40, much to the disappointment of both the label and the band. A second single, Chick Fit, followed in February 2007.
Well, Chick Fit, yes.
Well, it's basically the womanly thing that happens to you when you've got a guy and you want to shout about, you want to show off.
Got me obsessing all day.
Whenever he says her name, she gets excited, she freaks out, she thinks she's special, and she just acts like a typical girl would do, hearing a name from somebody that she thinks is amazing.
Because yeah, Chick Fit is definitely a girly thing,
I
isn't
love it. I know, but having fits in your stomach, and I know that when your stomach's going crazy, and I know that feeling. I love Chick Fit. It's one of those just blast it and get ready and dance around tracks, and you know,
a lot of energy.
Yeah, a lot of energy, ballsy drums. It's definitely one of my favorites. Definitely. I just love the way that song makes me feel. I love when that chorus comes in, and I just blast it in my car, and I drive excited.
Boy, you're too hot for me. Can't stop melting away. When I see you, I can't speak. Switching when I see your face.
It could actually be quite a sweet and a bit naff kind of, oh, I love it when you're around. But because you've got the mix with the hard beat and the you know, it's all a bit dark. I love it. I think that's why it works.
Promotional appearances and a physical release were eventually cancelled, and Chick Fit failed to reach the top 200. It was subsequently reported that All Saints and Parlophone had parted ways, and the group cancelled their planned UK tour.
Yeah, the third album was not. I mean, we had fun doing it, and it was exciting for a time. But again, I mean, you know, we signed a deal without having made, you know, not one note of music. We were signed purely on the revival, you know, and I don't know, it never sat well with me, so I could never really give it my word. I think it's pretty much over. I mean, everyone says never say never, and you know, you just don't know. But I can't see anything. I think, you know, I think it needs to be at least slightly relevant in order for us to sort of regroup and make new music and do it in a way that is not driven by money or.
In November 2013, it was announced that All Saints would officially be reforming for a second time to support the Backstreet Boys for 5 dates across the UK and Ireland in 2014. It ultimately sparked interest within the group to pursue a new album. In March, the group announced their first headlining tour in 15 years in support of their 2016 comeback album, Red Flag. Red Flag veered away from the previous album's reggae and ska influences and was the first album to be entirely arranged by the group with no record label input. Prior to its development, Lewis had taken notice of a new producer, Hutch, whose work she loved and saw the album as the ideal opportunity for a collaboration with him. The group also approached other producers including Utters and The Invisible Men, plus KG, who had produced much of their back catalogue. Only when the album was complete did they seek investors and a label for the project. The album was eventually released under London Records.
Of your words take aim, your poison tongue, but I don't wanna believe you.
One Strike was released as the lead single from Red Flag. Despite a low chart placing for the single, the album debuted at number 3 on the UK album chart.
Listen to your load that gun, I'm ready for the storm to come. Don't need hindsight.
a few years ago, I got a phone call for us to go on tour with the Backstreet Boys. So that's where it all started, and we did that, and we had so much fun. You know, there was no pressure. We had no record to sell or anything, so we were just able to go out and perform, which was great because that was one of the things we did the least of back in the day because we spent so much time promoting. So we did that, and then afterwards, just kind of decided, hey, actually, do you know what? This has been so much fun. How about we go in the studio? Actually, we were only going to try and do one song.
Yeah.
We were going to do one song, see how that felt.
See how, yeah, and it
See how
felt right.
Yeah, it felt right, and we ended up having a great time.
And now we're here.
And now so you're here.
Wasn't planned.
This was not planned.
And sometimes that's the way it works, isn't it? Sometimes things that almost happen by accident, you don't put any pressure on yourself.
That's right.
And it's more fun. Is that how it's been?
It's so much more fun like this. You know, it's just so much easier, isn't it?
Yeah.
And now
Because-
we're going on tour in October, which we're looking forward to.
Did it, come on, spill the secrets about being in a girl band. Did it get to a point where it wasn't fun?
Mel?
Hard work.
It's good that you can be honest about, and you were always, at the time you were always honest about what was going wrong and the splits and the arguments as well, weren't you, Mel?
I think there's no point in lying because I think you could probably tell on our faces most of the time as well. So, but yeah, I mean, I just think, you know, we just got to the end of that sort of path basically, and we were just like all a bit fed up, and we were just let's leave it. So that's what we did, and I think it was the best decision because now we've been able to get to this bit where, you know, 15 years on, 10 years on, whatever, that we're just better than ever, we're better friends than ever, and I think we're better artists too, so it's all good.
The group confirmed the second single for the album would be This Is a War, released in May 2016.
Written in the bad books, trouble all the way. Just like a fighter. Me, same story, same page. I was a ladder, searching for a flame. Together we burn brighter. Looking for a battle, ready for the pain. Knew it was a challenge, everything to gain. Seemed easy, seemed so easy. You wasn't perfect, I thought it was cool. You were a bad boy straight out of the hood. Yeah, it was all good. You a little tragic, me a little bold. Dangerously static, we couldn't be told. Together we were alone. Looking for a battle, ready for the pain. Knew it was a challenge, everything to gain. Seemed easy, seemed so easy. Gotta fight for the right to be loved and to love. This is a war.
The third and final single, One Woman Man, was released in October that year.
The palm of your hands. Tell me, are you ready yet? You decide with your heart, not your head. Tell me, are you ready for me yet? I know you can make her understand. Tell me, are you ever gonna be a one-woman man? Foolish and accepted, allowed and intended. Even though I know you're wrong. widow, the mourner won't be me. Even though I know I'm done, but my heart still loves the fight. I ain't going nowhere. Tell me, are you ready for me? Yeah, you got me in the palm of your hands. Tell me, are you ever gonna be on?
In October 2016, it was announced that All Saints would support Take That on their UK and Ireland tour in May and June 2017. In March 2017, the group confirmed that recording had begun on their 5th studio album. As with their previous albums, KG was involved, as well as the return of Pure Shore's Black Coffee producer, William Orbit. The album would also be the first to feature production by George Moore. In May 2018, the group announced the name of the new album, Testament, along with its release date of July 2018.
It feels like we've come full circle, and it feels like an album that, in terms of how it was made and what was behind making it, is very much similar to the first album. Love Lasts Forever. That song was produced by Carl Gordon, and I wrote it inspired by my son, just about how our kids, how they grow and they change and they have to go out into the big wide world, but we're still here as parents and as family, and all that kind of stuff. It was one of the songs that we all kind of pretty much instantly.
Yeah, I was so excited when I first heard it. I literally was like, you sent it through about 11:30 at night, midnight, and I listened to it over and over again for the next 4 hours, and couldn't actually wait to get up the next day so I could put it on the big speaker in my house. And yeah, instantly, I think we've been like, that was the first song that personally I heard that I was like, okay, we're fine. Like, this is good. This album's going to be amazing.
The first single from the album, titled Love Lasts Forever, saw its official release in May that year.
I won't break past this bound or fade away. Take your time, seize the day. I don't mind, I can wait. So when you're ready, you just gotta let me know. And when the time is right, I'm gonna show you. When we find it, we won't ever let go. 'Cause love lasts forever. So when you're ready, you just gotta let me know. And when the time is right, I'm gonna show you. When we find it, we won't ever let go. 'Cause love lasts forever.
A lot of people have been talking about the fact that you've reunited with a certain Mr. William Orbit on this album for 2 tracks. How was it working with him again?
It was amazing. It was amazing.
He's great fun, isn't he?
It's lovely to go back in the studio with William, because obviously we've had the history with him from the other 2 songs, but this time actually felt really, the time felt like there was a lot more quality time invested between the 5 of us, just because this time round, we weren't flying around the world, and we were able to sit in the studio with him all day and just talk, and he's a really clever man, very intelligent,
Super talented,
and has a lot to say.
Yeah,
and
very interesting.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of funny stories. Yeah.
I love both the tracks that you've done. I mean, I love the whole album, as I've said a million times already, but I do love those tracks. One of them was written a long time ago, wasn't it? You kind of kept it back, and it made an appearance on this album. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, Willie and I had written Testament in Motion about 10 years ago, and it was a song that I never really wanted to give away throughout the time of writing for other people. I always felt that song was an All Saints song, so yeah, just never offered it out, always kept it back.
Thanks for doing that.
You're welcome, Nick.
The next track is After All, and this was a song written by Mr. T. Lewis and Hutch, who also produced One Strike, and was
produced by William Orbit. So this is our William Orbit track.
I'm really glad that William came on board actually and produced After All, because I think that was the perfect song for us to kind of do with him. I love the fact that he just brought in all his sounds that he's renowned for and just turned it into a really classic, I think, All Saints sounding song, kind of in terms of Pure Shores and Black Coffee. It just kind of came back in on a elevation.
I think it took us, that was actually one of the only songs on the album that took us a minute to get our heads around it as well, because originally when you wrote it and you first played it, we felt like it was an amazing chorus, like the whole vibe, but it wasn't as it was when we first heard it. It was nothing like what you hear like now, and we kept going back and forth, and Shaz would be getting mixes back and she wouldn't even play it to us because she knew there was no point, because we'd be like but the fact that we got it to this point and now it's one of my favourites on the album, I think is like testament to how good we are at choosing producers.
Nice one, Mel.
July saw the William Orbit produced track After All released as the final single from Testament. The album peaked at number 15 in the UK album chart and number 1 in the UK independent album chart.
When each other was all we needed, I remember what could have been. We were just too young to see. There was something about the way. There was something about the way you used to love. You used to love. There was something about the way. There was something about the way you used to love. You used to love. All the reasons why we said it's over doesn't seem to matter after all.
It's been so well received, hasn't it? Is that important to you to get like critical acclaim from like the music critics?
It's amazing to get critical acclaim. I mean, we couldn't ask for anything more. I mean, we're so overwhelmed and so humbled and it's just so blessed, really, and happy, and what more could you ask for?
What more can you say, exactly?
With some of their best critical reviews to date, All Saints took the album on tour in November and December of 2018. In April 2020, the group released a cover version of the classic track Message in a Bottle with Sting.
Island lost at sea, another lonely day with no one here but me. More loneliness than any man could bear. Rescue me before I fall into despair. I'll send an SOS to the world. I'll send an SOS to the world. I hope that someone gets mine. I hope that someone gets mine. I hope that someone gets mine. Message in a bottle, yeah. Message in a bottle, yeah. A year has passed since I wrote my note. I should have known this right from the start. Only hope can keep me together. Love can mend your life, but love can break your heart. I'll send an SOS to the world. I'll send an SOS to the world.
The girls plan to continue performing live as soon as possible, and fans are currently eager for new All Saints tour dates, new music, and many more albums to come.